Hello and welcome to the transcription explanation of these designs. They all three actually say the same thing, which is Princess and Genny, and it says so using this key, which I have shown above me, and the key shows a couple of different rows, which are denoted by these four different letter stems above my finger here. Or in the top row there's a horseshoe shape, the second row there's a floating circle, third row there's a shallow divot, and bottom row is a crossing circle, and those make the different rows here. And then the columns are made by either dot modifiers or line modifiers attached to those different letter stems. And then vowels are little circles that have different positions depending on what vowel they are. And if it's an I, it has a line radiating inwards. And if it's a U, it has a line radiating out. So a lot of what I did here to get these different designs are I lined them up a little differently. So reading order is bottom counterclockwise. And that's true for the letters within a sentence, the letters within a word as well as the words within a sentence. And I also have this handy dandy little start marker here, which allows you to rotate this design. For example, let's say you wanted it like this for a calf tattoo instead of sideways for like an arm tattoo. We still have this little shape here telling us we start reading here and the bottom is here and we'll read this word and then this word. So it allows it to be rotated. And similarly, if you like wanted this one to be horizontal, you could do that. But I have them oriented with these little start markers towards the bottom in an orientation where you have the actual first letter at the bottom of the design. So let's go ahead and read these. So these two are laid out quite similarly with our word circles here for Princess, and then this one is Genny, this is Princess, and this is Genny. The main difference is our decorative lines, these little line modifiers changing our letters. This one has them all swirly, and then this one has them straight. So let's go ahead and take a look here. So start marker, and a start marker, and a letter P. Let me actually make this in between these guys. A letter P is a circle with two lines coming from it. So here's our circle with two lines there, and here's our circle with two lines there. And even though there's a whole gob of dots around these two designs, those dots can't go with this P because it already has those lines on it, and you can't have both dots and lines on a letter. And then an R is a full circle. Let me actually make this I separate. An R is this shallow divot shape with three dots. So here we have that shallow divot shape here, and it has its three dots, 1, 2, 3 here. These three dots are closer to the shallow divot, where these four dots are closer to that full circle. So three dots closer there, four dots closer there. And then an I, again, very similar here, is a little circle because it's a vowel, and it has a line going inwards. So there's our two letter I's. And then an N inside our word circle here. We have a full circle with one line on it, and similarly full circle with one line on it. So the lines count where they end. So these lines passing through don't count, they count where they end on the letter. And there's our N. And a C is another floating circle, and it has four dots, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason why we can have these two stacked together is because if two letters are in the same row, you can simply put them as one concentric circle, and those two are going to be read thin to thick. So here we have our thin letter N with one line on it, and here we have our thin letter N there. Oh, big yawn. Okay, and then a C is the thick one, and it has four dots. So it's okay that these dots are closer, kind of towards the beginning of the word, because the position is here in this letter stack, and its order is thin to thick. So that's why the C and its four dots are read after the N. So here's again the C with its four dots, and that's after the thin line N. And then we have a little E here. The E is on the line of our word circle. And then we have another stacked set of letters. So an S is a shallow divot with three lines. And similarly to the N and the C, we can stack them. However, it's the same letter twice, so that means these two lines are the same thickness, this double line here. So here's 1, 2, 3 lines coming off of that double S, and here's 1, 2, 3 lines coming off of that double S. Okay, so now let's go to our next word. Again, the bottom is here, so this is our first letter. It's a horseshoe with one line on it. Horseshoe, one line on it. And then our E is this little guy centered on our word circle. And then we have our two N's, which in this one I kept them separate. We have a full circle with one line and a full circle with one line. Or this one I stacked them, just like the S. And we have our double N, and then a Y crosses our word circle with 2 dots, crosses with 2 dots. And now this design over here, I set it up vertically, so we have at the bottom here our word princess, and there's our start marker. This is our P with 2 lines on it. And then our R here is the shallot with 1, 2, 3 dots with it. And then our I has that line going inwards. This is sneaky because this I is parallel to this R, and it looks like it could be a double R, but because this ends on our word circle, and is an I, that is simply an I, right? So the sneaky difference of this vowel being an E and this line being just a concentric circle and not attached to anything else or part of anything else makes this a double S. Well, this is an I line because it's on the vowel, and then this is our R by itself. So P-R-I. Here's that NC stacked, N with 1 line, the thin one, and then the C has 4 dots here. I played around a little bit with how I wanted to have these lined up. I considered having these, the open vowel and these 4 dots evenly in line, except I needed a little bit more space between the I and the R to clearly show that that was an I and not a double R. And then this S was going to end up being kind of like a smaller thing, so this was shifted up, so I couldn't quite make these guys even and make this whole thing even, but I think overall it still looks quite nice and balanced. But yeah, so there's our double S with 1, 2, 3 lines, and yes, this is 1 line. I know it's just an arc, but again, lines count where they end on a letter, and this 1 line ends both there and ends there, so that makes it 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. So P-R-I-N-C-E-double-S. Oh, so many yawns today. Whew. And then we have a G, a horseshoe shape, with 1 line on it, E here, and our N is a full circle with 1 line, and I did a double N here, and then our Y here. And these extra little bits going around everything are just like the sentence circle. It's where we put punctuation if we had it. This one has a sentence circle as well. This one does not have a sentence circle, but it is plenty busy already. So yep, those are your designs. Hope one of them works for you. Thanks. Bye.